Mayor, I'd like to call to order the work session meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for February 4th, 2021, to order at 7:02 p.m. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Here.
I keep forgetting it. Fakori. Fasolo.
Here.
Golubek. Pellegrin.
Here.
Council President Wetchler. Mayor Coletti.
Thank you, Erin. Just for the edification of the people out in the audience, this is our regular work meeting. The other was a special meeting. Specials are special. We need to get something done, and that's why we have two meetings this evening. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now, therefore, be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing an annual notice in the Record, Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Notice was posted on January 8th, 2021, and published on January 13th, 2021. Would anyone from the public like to be heard? Please state your name and address for the public record. Welcome.
Hi, Mayor. How are you?
Okay, fine, thank you.
I wanted to speak on the availability of the coronavirus vaccine. And I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to, so much is happening so quickly. And we don't want to make a decision in the next week or two that 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now we're going to regret. The governor has said that by June he wants to have 5 million people vaccinated. I think at this time we only have 600 or 800,000 in the whole state. But so many communities are doing their own vaccinations. And we were just talking amongst ourselves because Garfield is doing it, and that they have how many different things that they needed to have in place before they could offer the vaccines. But I have messages from communities that I've either seen or directly have corresponded with me for whatever reason. So that would be Fort Lee, Teaneck. Fairlawn has proposed to have their own vaccinations. These are vaccinations for their residents. Garfield, as I mentioned, and I counted 5 towns of Englewood, and I'm wondering if we could, it seems like we need a lot of resources. Ms. Delaney was telling us about their program. We don't have our Board of Health, so we contract with the county.
Counties are, yeah.
But maybe it would be possible for us to join another community, like perhaps Fairlawn, where we have a different set of demographics. We have one certain set of demographics, they have others.
Yeah.
Perhaps share the cost, but I just wonder if that would be a possibility. So many towns are doing this. I don't know what the advantages are, but it is very hard right now.
Yeah. How are they distributing, Erin, maybe you can answer, how are they distributing, say, to a town like Garfield that has their own Board of Health, in towns equal to that?
So I know that the county gets a set number of vaccines a week, and those are pretty much evenly distributed to those that were approved as vaccine sites. So the last that I heard, for example, Garfield would only be receiving 100 vaccines a week, and once those are done, essentially they're done. It's only to our residents, and they do have kind of a basis to follow. For instance, today we received our first vaccines, and they were distributed at the senior center. We have 2 senior centers in town where people live permanently. So, and so there's different priorities as well.
Okay. So how did they justify that with a town like Elmwood Park that's at the county as the Board of Health? Shouldn't we both be receiving roughly the same time, the amount given by the state?
If you were approved as a vaccination site here within Elmwood Park, you would get the same amount. But It's a process that the municipality has to apply for on their own. I know it's a little different because Garfield does, has its own health department, but we also have our own full-time public health nurse to oversee the project.
The
We
administration.
brought in a city physician. There were certain particulars that we need to follow, as I was speaking with Mr. Scalcione. But I think what he's suggesting is if maybe Fair Lawn gets approved, maybe reaching out to Fair Lawn, and correct me if I'm wrong, to see if we can partner with them and contribute so that our residents can be served too. I don't know if that's,
Right, I had no idea until you mentioned it that there were so many other requirements, but I will look for other towns that, I have a list of which towns contract with the county board of health. And, thank you for allowing me to speak, I just wanted to put this idea out there. My name is
Oh.
Dominic Scalzi, and I live at 120 East 54, and I wanted to congratulate our hero.
Yes, yes. Thank you for Mr. Foligno.
Mayor.
Had a heck of a day today. He decides in the month of February to go take a swim in the Passaic River, and he just happened to save 2 people from drowning and put himself in peril, to say the least. He's probably saying that he can turn and whack me in the face for bringing this up. He would do it, but he certainly, you really are a hero, Mike. You really are. Now I want to get back to this virus, the vaccine. It seems to me that if you're dealing the cards from the state level and you're being fair with everybody, if you have a certain percentage in accordance to the population of that town. So can we find out what we're not doing and we should be doing, or maybe we are doing?
Mayor?
Yes.
I have a Board of Health meeting on Monday. Maybe I can bring this up there with Marlene and see if she can reach out to the appropriate,
No, you'll talk to her tomorrow.
I could talk to her tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Sure.
Monday's too late.
Okay,
Good,
I'll
great
talk to her
idea.
tomorrow.
Yes, Sal.
Okay.
City of Garfield has their own board of health with city physicians and nurses and so forth.
yeah, we don't have a board of health actually, but we're our own health department. So we don't have a shared service with the county, but ironically, we don't have a board of health.
So that's the distinction between Garfield and Elmwood Park. Elmwood Park has just a board of health, does not have the facilities. However, we had an opportunity of utilizing a physician group when they were doing the testing. Now, I would suggest, if possibly, is to contact that facility again, because they're going to be receiving vaccines, and maybe we can sort of utilize their services to administer.
Mr. Foligno.
So a lot of the testing was arranged through my operations division. I'll have Sergeant Scott, who heads that division, make some phone calls tomorrow and see if we can come up with anything for our residents.
It seems very unfair at this, and believe me, I'm not trying to put down Garfield, but let's forget that Garfield's in the subject here. But if there's 250,000 people living in Bergen County, you would distribute whatever you had equally so that nobody could say, well, what am I, chopped liver? This is the part that I don't understand. I know what you're saying. They have their own health, but, well, they should get their number and we should get ours, and somebody from the county should administrate it because they are our health department.
I would tend to agree with you, Mayor, if this vaccine was, that there was enough vaccine to issue to satisfy everybody's concerns. It looks like at the county level, they're relying on the state is relying on the federal. It's like there's, and, trickle down or whatever until it gets to where it's got to.
Were you going to say
And the problem you
the
have is-
menorah goes to the bottom? Is that what you were going to say?
The problem, unfortunately, is to have a plan as who gets it first, establishing priorities, establishing how it's done, where it's done. Because you have certain towns, you have senior citizens that they're told, at least in New York, you have to go on the internet and register yourself, and then we'll let you know. I mean, that's, I don't know how.
Mayor, if I can, this past Friday, I was in a meeting with Pasquale and other community leaders, Congressman Pasquale, and there was a lot of sites, there's a lot of different towns that are vaccination sites, but there's two problems. They either don't have the manpower, and the ones who do have the manpower to do the vaccine aren't getting the vaccines at all. And that's literally the entire meeting with Pasquale was who didn't have the manpower to do the vaccine and who didn't have the vaccine at hand at all, because the state is lagging with getting the vaccine at hand to distribute it to the communities. So there's certain towns that were approved as a site from the state and from the counties, but they don't have the vaccines. And then the towns that do have the vaccines don't have the manpower to get it out there. So they're like trying to juggle 50 different things. And Pasquale's aware, Congressman Pasquale's aware of it. But I think we could contact his office to try to get that on foot there.
Yeah, so we can answer.
Yep.
Mr. Foligno,
So I just,
1 second.
messaged the sergeant, and he's gonna get on it first thing in the morning.
Excellent,
I'll have an answer.
excellent. Okay, no grass grows under this council's feet. Yes, sir.
Two things. First is that in the past I've mentioned that our infection rate was higher than many of the other towns. It's no longer, okay? It's they range from maybe, I don't want to say 5, 6, or 7, but mainly they're in where we are. We're at 11%. I look by population. County doesn't keep their stats that way. I do it as a percentage of population, and we're about 10 or 11% of our population. But so I'm saying that 10 or 11% of our adult population have been infected. That's what I'm calculating.
That's high.
That's the first thing I wanted to say.
Yeah.
The second is that the reason I'm concerned about the vaccinations is that to go into, there's the state site and then there's the county site. Bergen County has their own site, so you have to go in there. And the problem is that we're being prioritized by whatever categories they're going. First responders, and then right behind first responders and maybe long-term caregivers. Right behind that are the elderly, okay? But they're not, in other words, we could have, I don't know how many people in our town. I spoke to Ms. Delaney about an 87-year-old lady in Englewood, and they're going to fall through the cracks because it's not saying, okay, it's to what you said, Mayor. They're not saying, okay, Elmwood Park gets 50 shots, and then you say, okay, well, we have these priorities. You're just being thrown in there with everybody else in the county. So we could wind up on the short end of this if we don't have some way of prioritizing our own residents.
Well, thank you, sir, for
One-
bringing it to
one
our
other-
attention.
One other advantage we have here is that we have 3 pharmacies in town, which hopefully will be sites for different vaccines. Well, we have the CVS and we have 2 Walgreens, so hopefully,
But they're not
if,
named in the few that were named as getting the doses.
well, I'm saying when they do become available, hopefully they do bring them to Elmwood Park, and we have 3 different pharmacies here.
Okay. Anyone else from the public here to speak? If not, I'll close the public portion. Erin?
Yes, Mayor. Moving on, we have our engineers report. Before I turn it over to Mr. Cristaldi for the monthly status report, we first have an update for the 2019 NJDOT municipal aid funds. I included the most recent email thread and communications up to January 27th. So, and that was between Mr. Cristaldi and Mr. Foligno.
My suggestion on this item is that we discuss it in executive, and we'll have very clear direction by tomorrow what's going to happen with that project, because there's some things for executive that I'd like to bring up.
Okay.
I have a question for the attorney at some point.
Moving along.
Sal, is that good with you to put this into executive?
That's the, item 2,
1A.
1A? Yeah.
I'm going to have a legal question for you.
Okay.
Okay, with that being said, we'll discuss that in executive. Moving on to item number 1B is the 2018 CDBG current estimate number 3 and final, which also includes a change order. So if approved, I'll put this on for Rezo on the 18th.
Could somebody break this down for us, please, the CDBG? Daniel, are you,
It's, there's a balance to be owed to the contractor for cleanup, and just under $4,000, Mayor, to complete that project.
okay, very good.
Okay, so I'll put that on for Rezo. Next, we have the monthly status report, and I'll turn it to Mr. Crisaldi. Again, the mayor and council just wishes that you address items that have a change or updates.
The intersection at River Drive and River Road, didn't contact me.
Mike, do you have a report, the report? Because I don't think we got.
Yeah, you know, this week I got a little thrown off on Tuesday, so I didn't get a chance to update.
All right, so yeah,
It was on two items I had anyway. The intersection of River Road and River Drive, they didn't contact the county. You do have a shared services agreement, so actually you're not responsible for the design of the entire intersection. They do portions, like they design the traffic signal. You have to do the geometry and property takings that are required. So we're just working out the details so I can give you a proposal on exactly what it is you have to do. So, we don't overlap any work that the county's going to do.
Yeah, that's another thing I don't get. The county is forcing a project on us, and then we got to turn around and pay for the engineering fees.
They're not forcing it. We requested this for traffic safety.
Okay. But still, Mike, yeah, I get it. It's going to benefit us. But still, the project is under the auspices of the county, correct?
And it's their road.
And then here we are, footing the bill. But I get your point, Mike, about it, 'cause it's going to be beneficial. But, okay, I got my complaint in. Go on, I'm sorry, Mike.
And then Washington, that's finished, the drainage on that one corner. Before it snowed, we got a chance to take a look at it one day. The water did flow around the corner, so it looks like we'll be okay there. And that was all the only updates I had. If there's any other questions you have.
Okay.
What's the status of the marina?
We're working on the design. We have the survey all done, and we're laying out what we think you're gonna want. We're gonna have to sit down,
Okay.
have a committee, maybe.
Yeah, that's gonna have to happen, because we need the fire department involved and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so maybe you could think about who you want in the committee.
What's the timeline on that?
We should really have something in a few weeks, and then we'll sit down, and if you like it, we'll proceed. If you wanna make some changes, we'll just keep changing until we get what you want. I mean,
Can we get a meeting the last week of February?
yeah, we can do that.
So you'll pretty much have it like 80% done kind of thing, and then we just kind of make sure everyone's on board?
Yeah, when you say 80% done, I mean, I don't wanna design, something to the
Right,
completion,
right.
and then we moving it all around. We're gonna basically lay out concept plan of what we're gonna put where, and if you're all okay with it.
But all that other
then
stuff,
proceed.
all these other, like, all the paperwork things, that's happening,
Oh,
right.
the permitting, yes,
Okay.
that's in motion.
Okay.
That's separate from the design and the concept reviews that I want to do.
Mike, I have a question. The borough-wide drainage improvements, there were, I believe, 17 on the list. The East Washington took one off. There should be 16. We want to roll that out ASAP.
All right.
All right?
And I'd like to piggyback off of what Mike said there, that contractor that was awarded the job on East Washington, excellent, excellent. As far as the layout went and the procedure, excellent. Now we'll just hope it resolved the problem, which we'll find out. And,
We're lucky, he was a lot cheaper than the other two.
yeah, well, yeah. The other two were profiteers. Opportunities knocking, take advantage of it. That's why taking three bid law is an excellent law for government. Keeps it honest. But my compliments on that resolve there.
The only thing we have to do, I didn't want to have to try to throw into the bid thermal striping, 6 or 7 feet, because
Yeah.
it's got somebody completely mobilized out there. Either the town can maybe paint this white, or the next time we're striping, we'll add that in and just get that done under one of the other projects. It's not worth trying to mobilize the painting crews for, 8, 10 feet of striping.
Especially in this kind of weather. What do they do in this kind of weather when they have to mark out? Is there a special paint they use that,
nobody's calling for a walkout,
Yeah.
unless it's a real emergency. Yeah,
Yeah.
real emergency, then they'll come out.
Scotch tape it?
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for Mike,
Mike,
our engineer?
can you schedule a meeting,
For the marina?
yeah, last week of February? I'd like to be there, fire chief, rec director, rec liaison, council president, mayor, however we put that together.
Yeah, I'll send you some dates, Mike, and we'll come to an agreement on that.
Perfect.
Thank you. Anything else for Mike?
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, so moving on to resolutions, 2A, we have a letter from the NJDOT regarding a proposed utility engineering and construction agreement, basically with the project that they have going on Route 80 through multiple towns, Totowa, Woodland Park, Patterson, Elmwood Park, and I could go on and on. They are requiring, they are proposing that agreements be signed because certain public works facilities will need to be relocated. So this is more just of an FYI for the mayor and council. The supporting documents I gave to the borough attorney earlier this evening. So I will re-put this on the agenda for next week's work session after he has time to review, and we can discuss it and go from there.
What are they actually looking to do here?
They'll need to relocate certain public works facilities,
Our DPW building?
no, like say maybe water lines, sewer lines type thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know, with, depending on the design and construction and how it affects Elmwood Park, they might need to relocate some of that stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
Not the actual DPW building.
Okay. I was gonna say, that would be a disaster.
Okay, 2B is a proposal from Millennium Strategies in order for them to do work in regards to disaster recovery in relation to Tropical Storm Isaias. If this is something that you are interested in them working on with us, the chief and I were discussing, as with past grants, we do believe that their fees may also be allowable under the reimbursement. So as you can see, they are requesting $180 per hour for an amount not to exceed $20,000.
Yeah, please speak on that, Mike. Yes.
So money well spent, CFO recommends it. They worked well with our finance department in recovering a lot of money for the borough through the CARES Act. They know the system, they get us the most bang for our buck, the most reimbursement, so it's highly advisable.
Mike, we pay them a flat fee per year? Or are we paying them on a percentage?
Yeah, but this is above that, outside of the scope of that contract.
This is outside that
Yes.
scope? Okay.
What's the amount?
180 per hour. So they're recommending a not to exceed amount of 20,000. I mean, you could do it less if you'd like. I don't know where they got the hours from, but that's on the last page. Also on page 2, you can see other awards that they've gotten in relation to this grant for other communities.
So basically, what they're saying is, it doesn't fall within the realm of the contract we have with them.
Yeah.
This is over and above.
Yeah.
Are there other areas that we're going to be enlightened with going forward that they don't cover?
It seems like anything regarding like, say, pandemic, natural disasters doesn't fall in their normal scope. Like they reimburse, yeah. So the CARES Act was outside of their normal scope.
Okay.
This is a disaster recovery grant, but other items say, we ask them to look into something for firefighters or, eco-friendly grants, that all falls under their jurisdiction.
Gotcha.
When was Tropical Storm Isaias? And what happened in Elmwood Park?
We had manpower costs, overtime costs, stuff like that, I believe.
It was in 2020.
My only comment is, we pay them a nice chunk, to fill in the blanks on grant applications. What I would say to them is, as a gesture of goodwill, please handle this claim for us. That's what I would do.
If their services are reimbursable too, you feel that way? Under the grant, which it was for the CARES?
If their services are reimbursable,
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, it's not a guarantee.
I'm saying if it is.
I'm just saying, they get, how much do they get, $3,500 a month?
Something
And
like
they're
that,
pretty
yeah.
much filling in the blanks for our grant applications. We tell them what we want. So, I don't know, for a storm that we had a few manpower issues and we can't identify any major loss to the town, we're gonna bring them on to bill, God knows how much, I don't know. It's just a little weird to me. They do very well with us.
It's all gravy though to us, whatever they get for it. And if Sal, in reference to the contract, how do you feel about these items outside the contract with Millennium?
Well, Mayor, it's based on the initial award that was granted to them based on the RFQs. And if it's a matter which is outside of their scope of part of the agreement, then it should be treated as an extra service. I don't know, I haven't seen their agreement, so I don't know what their agreement contains, what they were hired for, and limitations. But if I could see that, then I can give you a better.
Yeah, why don't you take a look at it to Daniel's point? This way, we as the council, we get a better feel for what's going on here.
Happy to look at it and get it from the clerk's office.
Yeah, everybody in agreement with that? Yeah. This way. Okay, and in the interim, are we holding back by not agreeing to this?
I can send Sal the contract and put it on again for next week, but again, like, it's similar to last year, it's outside of their usual scope, like the CARES Act one was.
Okay.
We'll let Sal come back next week and tell us about it, and then we can decide.
Right.
This way we have, his opinion.
Okay.
In that case, just to add to that, I would think that we should add that to our scope for future grant writer RFQs.
Yeah, Dan,
It should be a catch-all.
yeah, right, catch on. Yeah, I like that idea.
If it isn't in there already,
Okay, next we have a firefighter resignation. Any questions? 2D, we have a resolution drafted by Mr. Ingraffia at the request of Councilman Fasolo regarding June as LGBTQ Pride Month in the Borough of Elmwood Park. Any objections?
The only thing that I saw here is the last line says, all municipal facilities that have a flagpole will have the flag raised in June. Was that our intent, or was it just?
I think it was just Borough Hall. Yeah.
I thought it was, well,
No, it would be Borough Hall.
I think that's sufficient.
Yeah, Borough Hall.
I'm
And we,
misunderstood, I'll fix it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know what the intent was. We just
No,
wanted
that was my intent. just
Sal,
Borough
I
Hall.
could just make that adjustment, so have it say
Yeah.
flown at Borough Hall for the month of June.
Yeah,
All right?
yeah. Thank you, Sal.
Oops. Okay, and then 2E are fire department equipment requests that were submitted by our fire official, Mr. Kochik, on behalf of Chief Bruce. It is monies that were previously acquired through previous bond ordinances, and it's additional equipment for the mini pumper.
Okay, so this money was allocated already.
Yes, and Mr. Kochik advised that it will contribute towards a higher ISO rating, which is the presentation that he made before us, which will help with insurance rates for the employees.
Okay.
And then there's also equipment outside of the mini pumper that will just be replacing outdated rescue equipment, but again, the monies were already established through another bond ordinance.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about that? They want to hear any more explanation? No? We're good.
Okay, moving on to ordinances. At the request of Councilman Golubek, we'll have a discussion regarding tattooing prohibited.
Yeah, every now and then, when I have nothing to do, I go through our borough code. I'm serious. There's nothing funny about that. We all have different hobbies in life. Anyway, Unless I'm reading this incorrectly, tattooing is illegal in Elmwood Park.
Absolutely.
I think it's a legitimate business. There's nothing taboo about it. Maybe it was when it was written. My suggestion is just to strike that language. If someone wants to open up a tattoo business, there shouldn't be any reason why the council's in their way. They have to oblige by like planning board and all that other stuff, but there's no reason for us to.
When I saw this on the, when I saw this on the,
Make a recommendation to the council, if anything, because if you're going to strike it, that means then there is no, control of it at all, period. I would suggest strongly that you prepare an ordinance which deals with it, delineates it, designates it, and so that it is controllable. You just don't want throughout the whole town, everybody just starting tattooing everywhere. So.
So let's start with the premise that it shouldn't be illegal.
Absolutely,
And
I
let's
agree.
work from there.
I agree.
And
And what we can do is the section with references as being illegal is to void it and to introduce and put a whole applicable ordinance which will deal with it, which I already have ready for you.
All right. Is the council good with that? The first step per Mr. Golovic is to make it legal. Anybody have a problem with that? If not, then the language that will continue, you're going to bring it to us and we're going to
Because there's a
analyze it.
state statute that deals with it also.
Okay, so Mr. Ingraffia will work on drafting something together and give to me for a future meeting. Okay.
Absolutely, we'll have something prepared.
trying to keep business in Elmwood Park, you know?
Yes, I agree.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, committee reports. Mr. Fasolo, would you like to go first?
sure, Mayor.
I'm
I just-
picking on you tonight.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to thank the chief for all his heroic acts today. Truly, we have a department and first responders that, you know, do so much for this town, and thank you, chief, for today, for your actions. I want to commend the DPW for all their hard work this past snowstorm. It wasn't easy. I think we got dumped with like 25 to 28 inches of snow. A lot of complaints about, you know, blocking driveways and stuff, but when we have a lot of snow like that, there really is not much any of us could do. I was out there trying to help some residents, you know, get out of their driveways and things like that. One thing I saw on social media, though, was that in Prospect Park, they have this snow go machine. It's kind of like a big snow blower. So I'm going to talk to our DPW superintendent and see if there's some interest in that, because it's definitely needed to,
Can I say something?
yeah, but
So Scott has approached me the other day and wanted to purchase a smaller version of that, and we got it in the same day. It was $5,000, money well spent. So we already started utilizing that, and we're going to be looking into a larger version of it for bigger streets and bigger projects that will actually shoot it into a dump truck and cart it out of here. So we're all on the same page with that.
great, thank you. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Mrs. Wetchler?
Okay, first I'd like to say a special thank you to our fire chief, police chief, DPW, especially Mike. Without you, Mike, being there, I don't know what happened would be with those, the mother and the child. Our fire department, without them, and our EMS, I don't know what they would do without the two. I always put you our angels, and today you really proved to everybody you are the angels of this town. Because without everything working together, Maureen's working together, that mother and that little baby would not be alive today. And I really, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Second of all, I'd like to thank the DPW for all their hard work these last 3 days. You listen on, you watch Facebook and you see people putting the DPW down, they don't do this, they don't do that. Without them, our town would not be running the way it is and how safe it is and clean. The library, we had a meeting on Monday night. We're hoping to start opening, getting the contractors out by the end of the month, beginning of March, that we can have the furniture put in, the rugs put in, and our books starting to go back. We're hoping to open by May.
Hallelujah.
Progress.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ballesteri?
Yes. I do want to also echo the council on the chief, what his compassion and his training kicked in immediately today. to save these two individuals from drowning. I can imagine the emotion, the feelings, just the whole, you never know when you're as a first responder what you're going to come up against each and every day. So thank you for that, and I'm sure there's some really happy people in that family today,
Yeah.
because it could have been a whole different situation had he not jump in and just by his training and know exactly what to do. And thank you for all the responders that did come and assist in this as well. It was an amazing and a very happy day. It
Yeah,
could have
it's
been
good-
absolutely the opposite.
Good outcome.
I also want to thank the DPW. They did an excellent job. Much more snow than we've been used to for a while, and no place to put it. So people felt very, very happy. I mean, you'll get a few that might feel that, well, this is blocked in, but there's no place to put this snow. It's just too much. So they did an excellent job. Thank you for that, which is wonderful because they all work together and then get this accomplished. And the only other thing I have is just that we had a recreation remote meeting, which went very well. Sean, our rec director, is doing an excellent job. We were able to finally vote in and swear in our new rec advisory board members.
You did that Zoom, or you?
Yes, we did it through Zoom. But it was excellent. Excellent meeting. And, Yes, they got sworn in. So, but you know what? We didn't have meetings for a while, as other boards as well. So we're up and running, and like I said, Sean is doing an amazing job, and we're trying to start getting back on our feet again with the COVID, and and he's working around it slowly to try to start, because parents and kids and they want to get out there a little bit when the spring is coming. So hopefully we'll be able to even write chief with our concerts, or look forward to that. Hopefully that's going to come about, and no matter how it's done, social distancing, whatever it needs to be done, but at least we're looking at that and working with trying to bring the community.
Yeah, Sandy, I think we could pull that off. We maintained the social distancing.
Right.
We got a big field there,
Sure,
and
absolutely.
we could pull it off.
I think so too, and I think we really need this now. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And again, thank you, congratulations to our newest councilman. This was easy tonight. But I don't want to scare you. It'll only get easier, you'll see. All right, progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Golombek.
Mike, great job. Progress.
Okay, Mrs. Pellegrin.
Sure. Well, I might as well start off with Mike since everyone else did. I always say that you're a hero. I've said that numerous times before, and being the police commissioner, I get to work with you hand in hand on a daily basis. And not just today. Today was a very important day because lives were saved, but he is always like this. Wherever help is needed, Mike is the first one. He's like the busiest one in the building, but he will always say, what do you need? How can I help? How can I help that resident? So it wasn't surprising to me that he was the one that went in and got the woman and her child out. And we're very proud of you. We always are. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you put into this community that I know you love so much. And now I'll go on with my police update and COVID-19. The past 2 months have been very difficult for our police department and staffing. 3 officers have been out since December and not expected to be back until April. Another officer has been out since May with a personal health issue. Then COVID-19 struck the department hard, and 20 officers were affected. Some were out of work for 3, 4, and 5 weeks, recovering and battling symptoms. The department is slowly on their way back to recovery, with officers coming back to work and after fighting this horrible virus. To those officers who are still out sick, we pray you will recover quickly. Please, everyone, continue to follow all the guidelines to help keep each other safe. The next Board of Health meeting will be on Monday, February 8th at 7 p.m. Also, I'd like to thank Scott Cars, our superintendent of our DPW, and his team for all the hard work clearing all the snow from our streets. It was a massive snowstorm, and they just did the best they could. So the people that are complaining, please give everybody a break. There was nowhere to put the snow, and they really worked so hard. So I personally, as with the council, are very proud of our team. So thank them. And my residents' assistance update. Our team of volunteers from the high school were out shoveling the last couple of days, as many residents needed so much help. The program thanks Tom Mulligan, teacher and coach at our Elmwood Park Middle High School, and his team of student athletes for their efforts to help those in need from the massive storm on Monday. We really appreciate all of them. Our program really, because they're students, we only go up to so many inches, a few inches, because they're kids. They can't go out and take care of 2 feet of snow. But Tom and this group of athletes felt that they wanted to at least help clear a path so our residents in need could at least get to their mailbox, or if they had to go to a doctor's appointment or get picked up for something. So I really, really want to commend them, because this was way over what they volunteered for, and yet they stepped up to the plate. There's 30-something houses that are signed up with the Residents Assistance Program. I don't think they got to all of them, but they got to quite a few, and I think they still went out this afternoon. So slowly, they're getting to all of them. And again, I'm just really grateful and proud of all of them for stepping up to the plate and going above and beyond. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Progress.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive report. Okay, now for the newcomer. You didn't think you're getting away with it, did you?
But so, I don't have any committee report, but I just want to thank the chief, because for a long time, anytime you reach out to him for something, he's always there to ask a question. And on Monday morning, I drove through, fortunately I have to go to work, but I drove through Carlstadt, East Rutherford, Little Ferry, and the snow was almost 4 feet on their main roads. But when I got out of my house, the boulevard was clean. So I just want to thank everybody involved, the DPW, everybody that's involved in doing the job. Great job. Just want to thank everybody. You can hear all people complaining, but they don't know what's involved in clearing the snow on the street. I commend everyone involved in that job. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Touche, touche. All right, I'd just like to expand a little on the police, adding the police into to the table. Before we did this, we examined whether or not we could hire part-time, and state statute does not allow us to hire part-time. For instance, you got an epidemic, we got 20 people out, we go hire 10 police officers to fill the gap, part-time. When the others come back in, they get laid off. The state does not allow that. So it kind of handcuffs us on what our next move is. And the next move was to add a person or two to get through the crisis here. So I just wanted to add that in, that we just didn't think of, like, let's just throw an extra police officer on the table there. But it was thought out, and once again, we're handcuffed from the state. As far as the snow removal goes, we did a damn good job in this town. I'm sure all of you have been in your cars and checking yourselves, and the main roads were, you didn't even know there was a snowfall. The 24 hours, you didn't know there was a snowfall. The inner streets, like in any other situation, they're going to be tighter, but we were on it. I think the department ran very, very smooth this time in. And I think that's a blessing that goes out to all of us, our administration. We support our departments. When they come in, they talk about a new piece of equipment. We don't throw our hands up and say, whoa, 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 whoa. We want to analyze it. How is it going to help us? How is it going to make us better in a crisis time like this? So I compliment you all. I compliment our administration. And Mike, I don't know what to say about you, but you scare me sometimes, Mike. I love the fact that you're here. You know, I love the fact that you're here this evening. It could have just went the other way. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? But God has sent you here. You have a purpose here, and you're certainly fulfilling it, Michael. Okay, with that, that'll be all I have to say. I will open this, a motion to open to the public for comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Public, anything you'd like to speak about, please come forth, name, address, try to direct your question to me. If I can't answer it, I'll defer.
The microphone
We
just
hear
have to
you,
hold
Jeff.
it down until it turns green. And it takes a bit of time.
Is it green?
Yes, it is.
Oh, great.
We hear you without it,
You
Jeff.
just have to hold it.
Okay, good luck. and,
Thank you, thank you,
nice to
Jeff.
see you sitting in that seat.
Thank you.
Police chief, excellent job today. Hopefully that's only a one-statement.
Yeah.
You have to do. Okay, now my question is more of a statement than a question. On January the 21st of 2001, or 21 rather, Councilperson Fasola made a statement that he and his colleagues had received an email on January the 18th, 2021 from a constituent. I believe it was early in the morning, 5:50 or whatever. He said that the message was filled with hate and bigotry against the LGBTQ community. He expressed his disdain regarding this message and felt it was his duty to do so. He requested that the clerk and borough attorney formulate a resolution creating the month of June as LGBTQ Pride Month. I believe it already is. Anyway, in this community, and fly the LGBTQ flag on the borough's post for the month. Councilperson Golombek and Council President Weschler agreed with this proposed resolution. Did all, I know you mentioned that, all received that email?
I did.
Yeah,
Everybody?
I did.
Okay, I'm not gonna ask who did the person identify themselves? Who wrote this particular email? It was an email authored by the person.
Yeah, it was an email sent, it kind of looked like a chain email, but it was from a specific person, and it was sent to a lot of people, actually a lot of leaders in Bergen County.
Okay, so it was identified and verified that this was the person who had written. Was anything like this it was what you said, was it referred to the police department or to the county or anyone for investigation?
I didn't, in my,
I
deal-
don't quite understand.
All I will say, from my experience reading it, is it was an extraordinarily distasteful and
But there was-
hateful
No, I'm saying,
email.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But there's no problem with sharing it with you in some way. It was just
Yeah.
very distasteful, very over the top, but there was no criminality
yeah,
or,
there was no like physical threats or anything.
yeah, it was
Okay,
just,
okay, because that's why I'm asking. Now, this particular flag, where would it be displayed? And I heard that.
On the flag post here at Borough Hall.
Okay, and it would be on the flagpole.
Correct.
Now, what happens, and I know this has risen up in other communities, they've had to deal with this. What happens when other people request to hang a particular flag? For instance, breast cancer awareness, right to life, BLM, Black History Month, American Heart Month. There are many, endless reasons that people might like to put a flag up. How do you address that issue?
I think that the state has addressed it
I'm
already.
asking through the
Yeah.
Mayor.
I think the state has addressed this by making Pride Month the month of June, and flying it on state posts as well. So I think there's precedent for this resolution here.
I know, but still, the town would have the choice to put up on the pole what they wanted. So the town itself may have to address that issue.
I'm sure if somebody has a request or, an idea, they could always submit it to the council for
Okay?
acknowledgement.
Because there could be some exposure here legally for something like that. I know this has happened in other towns.
So, Jeff,
You got to look at something.
so what are we saying? We should try to set some laws that would stop that type of language going forward? What is it?
No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, if you're permitting something other than the American flag or other things like that, what happens when other people may request something
Yeah,
similar?
that's true.
How do you address that issue?
Yeah.
And this is, I think in Rutherford, there was one where it was regarding, I guess, right to life, something like that.
Yeah.
And some towns, Ridgewood, I think has dealt with it also. They were gonna put it up in the town, and I believe they then put it up in the park. Okay, and Flag Day is one of the days in June. I know it's June, but I know it's got to do with the thing in that particular tavern or whatever there in New York. That's how it began. So anyway, this is the intention of the
Yeah.
town to do this.
Point well taken, Jeff.
So, just an opinion, about this, and that sometimes you have to tread lightly with things like this because there can be requests from other groups.
Right, right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else care to speak on any topic?
Hello, Dominic Scalzione again, 120 East 54th Street. I just wanted to add to my comments that certainly I hope that the borough can explore the possibility of what's involved in, offering vaccines to the citizens of the town, but we shouldn't get involved in any of the endorsing the vaccine or disparaging it. We don't want to get involved in these arguments, We have nothing to do with that. We just want to make it available to those residents who want to. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you once again. Anyone else care to speak? If not, I will close the public portion. May I have a motion to enter into executive? All in favor?
Aye.
We're going into an executive, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss personal matters and litigation legal reports, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting.